Man, what an ending to Monday Night Raw we have just witnessed, boys. Some people died. We seen some people knocked out. I still don't know what's going on, but hey, I guess we'll have to find out on next Monday on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. But we've been waiting months and months and months of just anticipation for this Uncle Howdy thing and everything like that. And for me personally, I think it definitely lived up to the expectations. Now, boys, let's start with Kenny, man. Kenny was very, very happy about what was going on. I don't know if this guy just likes death or something, but Kenny, let me know, man. What's going on?
Hey, I like scary movies. It's just in me. I had to rare red for all the blood we saw tonight, man, because I don't know what happened. They kind of did the same thing we saw when Bray Wyatt first came back the last time. And I think this time they actually exceeded what they did last time because as Brian just said, they went to the back and we saw blood all over the place. It looked like, I don't know if it was gunshots or what, but the guy was sitting down and blood was on the wall behind his head. Chad Gable looked like he kind of took one to the dome. So I don't know where we go from here. It looks like they kind of wrote Chad Gable off. We'll talk more about that later before we get too deep. Big Kiddo Valentine, what did you think about this?
There's a lot to think about this, man. I gotta say, I hated everything that Bray Wyatt did. Really. Because I wanted to like him so bad. When he won that Elimination Chamber match with the WWE Championship, I was like, yes, let's get it. And then he lost to Randy Orton. Then he lost to Goldberg. Then they buried him with Seth Rollins. Every single time I had hope for this man, they just destroyed it. So at the end, when he became like the Fiend, like even though, like I really didn't think that the Fiend would do anything. Like when he lost to Goldberg again, I was just super mad because there's always been so much potential, and here, that's just what we saw. Like extreme amount of potential. I will say this easily. For a long time now, maybe I guess until the WrestleMania or around the WrestleMania season when The Rock was around, I was like, let's see what's gonna happen on Raw next, SmackDown next. But that was it. After that, we were just kind of in autopilot. It's been a good amount of months where I'm like, okay, I want to see what's going to happen on Raw. And it's been maybe a year? I don't know, like a long, long, long time where I'm like this excited and this hyped up to actually see what they're going to do on SmackDown and Raw because this is exciting. Like I thought this was just going to be a little goofy because by the end, before we got to this segment, I was sick of all the QR codes every single time. Damn. I mean, even the commentary was like, man, here's another QR code. Like, come on, man. Like, but this is... We said it before starting the video. This not only met our expectations, they just boom, smashed through like a hammer, like a sledgehammer that Eric Rowan is holding. There's so much
brothers
to say to this, yeah. But Omer, what do you think, man?
I was great. I'm like, I mean, look, let's be honest. Chad Gable took a gunshot wound to the head.
I think so, yeah.
It was not implied. This was not like he was bludgeoned with a hammer. There was a bullet hole in that man's head.
Absolutely. So that's not PG.
It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be funny as heck to watch WWE explain that as like, I don't know what happened. They were in Bizarro World, Michael. Whatever they're gonna say.
Can I ask a quick question, Omer? Does this feel like Vince getting into the limousine and it exploding, kinda?
That's kind of what it reminded me of because of the death.
It kind of
a little bit.
I don't think we've seen anything like this since.
Yeah.
I think the point, I would say this. It's a cross between that and like, remember when the Nexus in 2010 beat down?
Oh,
like,
you're right. You're so right. You're so right.
Like it's kind of like a cross between, it's like that weird, like what WTF just happened. And then like, oh my God, like they took out everyone.
Yeah.
Like, I think this was a way for them to kind of combine that almost supernatural, like just mind altering vibe to, they just came in and they wiped out everyone. They made a statement that this is a group that everyone in the back should fear. And that's very strong. It's a very strong statement for them to make. As someone who was a fan of like most of what Bray Wyatt did, and I want to be clear, it's what Bray Wyatt did, not the booking of Bray Wyatt. That's a whole different thing. I thought like, I think like this has the potential to be like a fantastic kind of way to hopefully like immortalize like his vision for what he wanted this character to be, what he wanted this group to be, for generations to come. Because unfortunately, he was not able to see it. But I like it. I really like it. My main thing is though, are you going to explain Chad Gable getting shot on TV?
Yeah.
Next.
There was a lot of blood, man.
Yeah, and Kiddo, that's a good point because I haven't felt this way since Vince McMahon blew up in that limo. Because after that week, I'm like, wait a minute. Of course, they didn't really kill Vince McMahon, but where do we go from here? How does he come back from that? Unfortunately, we never got the conclusion to that for specific reasons. But this time, I think things will kind of push forward next week. And I don't know if this was a way to write Chad Gable off because maybe he was lying and he really didn't resign. Because I don't understand why you don't just hold Ricochet until this week and you write him off like that. If you're going to kill somebody, this was the perfect way to kill Ricochet and get him up out of there. So I don't know. Maybe they didn't know what they were going to do yet. But I mean, I just think this was the perfect way to get rid of him.
Yeah, there's so many questions to ask. And like the more we think, the more layers that we kind of uncover. And like it just shows how prepared they are for this story. Now, this is a starting point. I said it at the beginning of the video. I want to say it again, just so we're sure, just so we're clear. WWE, please don't ruin this. Because I always wanted to see Bo Dallas in a serious role like this. When he was doing the Bo Leave stuff, I mean, he was giving it everything and he was laying into it, sure. But like, man, I liked him back in NXT. I think the second ever NXT champion beating either Big E or Seth Rollins, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. So like, and that one time when he was feuding with Matt Hardy and I think Bray Wyatt actually, and he was the B team with Michael McGillicuddy, or his new name, Curtis Axel. Like he did just for 5 seconds the imitation of Bray Wyatt. I was like, holy hell, he's literally the same as Bray Wyatt. I mean, granted, they're brothers, but like after that, I was hoping it was kind of like, you know, my dream type of scenario where like, you know, Shawn Michaels, AJ Styles dream match, Bo Dallas being in a dark gimmick like Bray Wyatt, supernatural gimmick like Bray Wyatt. I always wanted that. So I'm more hyped than anyone. I remember back in WWE 2K15 when I was doing Universe mode, like Bo Dallas was my champion with a very similar gimmick. So like this is a dream come true for me. I'm super behind it. I'm super hyped. I do want to see where this goes. We got some new call-ups from NXT as well in the form of Joe Gacy. So like yeah, I cannot sing enough of the praises, especially because this is not the only good thing that was on Raw. Like we had a good beginning, right? And then the entire show had some solid segments. And on top of that, we got this. So like, I don't know, maybe I'm just because we're in the moment, but this is like a 10 out of 10.
Good, man. This is like something that you got to remember where you were when it happened, I think. Now, it is important that they follow up on this, though, because like you said you kind of hope he could be like Bray Wyatt. I don't want him to be like Bray Wyatt at all. Yeah. I want to see Bo Dallas's take on this thing because unfortunately, you know, we've seen Bray Wyatt come out strong, but every time it really tapered off and it wasn't as good as it could have been. This is a strong start, but again, they got to follow up on this because I think this is better than anything Bray Wyatt's ever done so far.
Can I say this?
I love Bray Wyatt, but I just felt like the Firefly Funhouse stuff, it just stayed the same for so long, and you thought it was going to get to that next level, and it never did. This one started through the roof. Now, they're going to have to go higher, and it's going to be hard to keep them there, but they got some talented people in this group. Nikki Cross in there looking good, even with the mask on, so we'll see where it goes.
I was gonna, like the whole time I was thinking, modern times and we got a supernatural gimmick once again. And the whole argument with social media is that it's impossible to do. Do you guys think that, like this worked? Bro. This was a supernatural great gimmick and it worked completely.
No, the Undertaker is my favorite wrestler of all time. That's all I got to say.
No, like the Fiend worked until they like had him job to Goldberg, had him have that horrible match with Seth Rollins and like did like just stupid stuff to undermine the character. Like you know why the Undertaker worked, Kenny. You know why the Undertaker and Kane worked? It's because for the longest time they kept those characters as threats, and the only people that could outdo or outwork Undertaker and Kane were who? Undertaker and Kane for the longest.
Stone Cold always beat him.
I mean, Stone Cold, okay, and
like
Stone
the big
Cold,
main eventers beat him, but anybody else?
I mean, they were still again. Undertaker's my favorite wrestler. I didn't care who beat him.
I'm saying, Kenny. You know what I'm saying, Kenny.
Bro, the Ministry Undertaker, when he came back and slid his wrist,
you got him defensive again.
It was the goal.
Omer,
I don't know why.
We get what you're saying.
I'm not defensive, bro. I'm balling at the Undertaker's career. I'm not getting defensive. I didn't hear any triggers. I'm just saying, Undertaker's the GOAT. Y'all got me running down the Undertaker's career now.
It's all right, Kenny. It's all right. Omer, what are you going to say,
man?
You
can't mention the Undertaker around Kenny.
No, can't do it, man. Shawn Michaels versus the Undertaker Hell in the Cell. Kane ripped the door off. Come on, man.
WWE's got him hyped.